But I think we're at the top of the hour here, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I'm hoping everyone can see my screen. Torri, if you see my screen, give me a thumbs up. You see us all? See us there? Great. All right, so we're going to hop right in today. We've got a tremendous panel of your colleagues from around the country joining us today, sharing things like how their business has been impacted, how they're keeping their employees busy, how they're facilitating remote work, and what they're doing to prepare for after this is all over, when things get back to whatever the new normal looks like. Joining me today, as always, is Steve Glenn, owner of multiple process serving firms here in Colorado and also president of the Colorado Association. And Kyle Barr and Adam Cameras from ServeNow, Serve Manager are here with me as well, just kind of helping out behind the scenes. We'll mostly be in the background. Steve, Kyle, Adam, myself, we'll be in the background going through the Q&A from the audience, which probably will be significant as we had about 800 people registered when I checked a few minutes ago. In a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Steve to talk for just a couple minutes about some updates on some of the relief options that we had covered last week in last week's webinar. Then we're going to jump into our panel discussion moderated by Mindy Namer, who's one of our senior marketing consultants over at ServeNow and Serve Manager. We're going to save all the questions for the end this time, mostly due to the group size and the panel format. And we will not be using the raise hand feature for taking attendees off mute because we have so much to discuss in a short period of time, and that can be time consuming. But we will be asking our panelists to head over to the Process Server Slack channel for what's called a AMA, or Ask Me Anything. Basically, it's a chat QA session. I don't have a lot of time today to explain Slack if you're not familiar, but it's a new chat channel that we've set up for the process serving community for the industry. If you're not a part of it, go over to sopslack.com right now and fill out the membership form, and we'll be working very quickly today to get new members approved during the webinar. So go fill out that form right now, and along the way, look for your membership approval in your inbox throughout the webinar, and join our panelists for about a 30-minute Q&A session in the AMA channel. If they can stay longer, great. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Steve Glenn, who's going to chat a little bit about the relief updates.
First of all, let's talk about payroll. First, let me say this. Welcome, everyone. I thank you for being here. There's a couple of things I want to update people on. As of 2 days ago, 2/3 of the money for the payroll protection plan is still available. I recommend, like I'm with Chase Bank, but I did not get my my payroll protection plan through Chase Bank. It took a 7-day process. I should be funded today. So that plan of getting unemployment, getting my people off unemployment once the payroll protection plan kicks in is working to nobody I mean, it's working. That's how it's supposed to work. If you Google local banks participating near me, or go to sba.gov paycheck, and check paycheck is, I guess, didn't get spelled correctly. There should be a C in there, paycheck protection /find, then you'll be able to find a local bank. I'm recommending go to a local community bank. They're probably going to be faster because Chase Bank, you think about all the business clients they have, and there's no telling where you're going to be on the list. In regards to the EIDL, what I found through some research last night is that those two programs are available to everyone. However, they're totally different. The payroll protection, there's no credit check that needs to be done. All you have to do is submit minimal documentation, and then you get the loan. The EIDL, you have to qualify for. If you qualify, or if they think you're going to qualify because you have an urgent emergency, they'll send you $10,000. That $10,000 will come off your payroll protection plan for the forgiveness part of it. Later today, I'm going to be, when I get on the Slack, I'll be posting 2 documents that show you the difference between the two programs, but you can qualify for both if you need them. I'm going to tell you right now, if they were to offer me an EIDL loan, I don't need it. I won't need it at all. Let me see. I think that's about it. I think I've covered both of the things that I wanted to. Oh, let's just talk about the EIDL. If you qualify and get the $10,000, if you get a loan, it's at 2 3/4% for up to 30 years. It's not like the payroll protection where they're going to give you forgiveness. So if you take the low interest rate, it's cheap money. You take the loan and then you go build your business or enhance your business and do those kind of things. But I don't know that you really need it. I qualified for it. I'm probably not going to take it. And with that, I'll turn this back over to Mindy to do your thing, girl.
Yeah, I'll just remind everyone, this is a bullet that I saw yesterday. PayPal, Intuit, Square have been approved to offer loans to small businesses. I don't know a lot of information on that. Definitely do the research on that. If you use them for any processing, they might be able to help you. As a reminder, I'm going to turn it over to Mindy right now, but as a reminder, we are not using the raise hand feature. Please ask any questions via the Q&A, and we will be doing the Q&A at the end. So Mindy, going to hand it over to you to facilitate our panelist introductions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And hello, everybody. Glad you're here today joining us. We're going to start with brief introductions from our panelists. Just going to introduce themselves and their company and where they're from. And I'm going to start with Michele.
Hi, I'm Michele Harris, Harris Investigations. Our corporate office is in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia, but we serve all of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. I've been in this industry for about 30 years now. So I do private investigation, process service, and mobile notaries, throughout the 10 offices that we have in those 3 states.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And let's move on to Gail.
We may have lost, did we lose Gail? Are you on mute?
Yep, she's on a mute there.
Got
there
it.
We go.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm Gail Kagan. I'm with A Subpoena. My corporate office again is in Westchester County, New York. I've been working for 15 years in the industry and basically do full attorney services, process serving, skip tracing, everything, filing documents, document retrieval, mortgage foreclosure, and everything like that. Also been the president of the New York State Association of Professional Process Server, and I'm currently the legislative chair, so get involved in the politics of keeping things relevant for process service.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Joe, you're up.
Joseph Jones from Bosco Legal Services. We're located in Riverside, California, which is Southern California. We service the entire state of California. Got about 65 employees. My dad started the company back in 1988. My brothers and I have kind of taken over the operations. We offer private investigations, service process, court filings, and record subpoenas.
Awesome. Okay, and then let's end with Torri.
Hi, my name is Torri Schaffer. I'm the president of Torri's Legal Services. I am also the president of the Mid-Atlantic Association of Professional Process Serving. I have been in the industry for 30 years. We are located in the District of Columbia. We serve DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We do service of process, court filing, Supreme Court briefs, skip tracing, rush service. We're a full litigation support company.
Awesome. Thank you so much to our panelists for that. And we're going to start with our first topic here, which is going to be, I'd like you all to talk a little bit about how your business has been impacted. Anything from, if you've seen a slow in the business that's coming in, what is actually happening in your specific states, what are you allowed to do, not to do? And then if anybody would like to share anything that they've applied for any of the relief packages through the government, feel free to do that as well. And Gail, let's start it off with you.
So of course I've lost revenue. That's the first thing. But the inconveniences have been like losing my office, losing my equipment. You know, my computer is not big enough to, well, my computer is fine. My printer is not big enough to do big documents. I'm getting slower mail deliveries. I'm not getting my checks in because I have to get my mail transferred from my office to my house. Having service pick up work when I do have service work. I have to mail it now because they're not coming to the house. Things like that have been difficult to work through. In our state, we're considered an essential business. The NIPSA reached out to the Economic Development Corporation, and they said that we're essential. However, the court administration said that there are only certain cases that are essential, and basically those are mental hygiene, criminal matters, orders of protection, domestic violence cases, matters concerning COVID-19, election law, and guardianships. So the question is, can we serve anything that comes across our desk, or do we only serve essential matters? That's almost a moral decision in my mind, because do I want my service out there serving while this is going on, even though they're wearing personal protection gear and whatnot? So I've considered it, and what I am continuing to do is service where it involves a date that will impact the case in the long run. So 30-day notices, 60-day notices, and landlord tenants, you know, those kinds of things. Anything that comes in that guardianship, which is really hard to do because a lot of that has to do with the nursing homes and whatnot, and you can't really go near there. So there's a lot of evaluation that I'm doing when I do take a job. Pretty much that's where it's going. I did apply in terms of PPP. I did apply for the Paycheck Protection Loan. We'll see. And I'm through Chase, so it's taking a longer time. And it's going to be, you know, just enough to carry I have one full-time employee that's on salary plus myself. And then of course I have my service, my independents, who I've all recommended that they work and get unemployment. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for that. Next, I'm going to move on to Joe.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we've been impacted. One of the things that has worked as a benefit for us through this is one of our expertise in investigations is social media investigations. In my social media team, we've got about 15 full-time social media investigators. They were already set up to work from home. You know, most of them were working from home 1 to 2 days a week. And so there hasn't been a big operational impact there. And we've seen, you know, we had a little bit of a slowdown for about half a week, and then all those cases started coming back. So my social media team, they are, you know, as active as they've ever been. We've got lots of cases coming in, lots to do. And frankly, our investigations are more efficient because more people are spending time on social media right now. You know, other departments have seen an impact. You know, our court department has seen the largest impact. The new orders have dropped by more than half. But even the orders that we're taking in, you know, 75% of them we can't touch because you can't file them with the court. So we've got, you know, piles and piles of documents that are just, you know, stacking up, which, you know, we can't bill for those. We can't do anything with them. You know, records and service of process are also seeing an impact, not as great, but generally speaking, you know, about everybody has half of in those other three departments has about half of the work that they did before. We have not spent a lot of time worrying about, you know, like Gail was mentioning, you know, which cases are, you know, absolutely necessary, which aren't. You know, my employees, it's absolutely necessary for them to have work to feed their families. And so we have been focusing on, you know, doing as much as we can given the CDC restrictions. We're not spending a lot of time, kind of worrying about, are we going to have issues down the road? One of the things that we did do up front, this is day one, right after the governor came out with his order in California, the stay-at-home order, and we are considered an essential business, but notwithstanding, we did a survey with all of our employees to see who had serious concerns about working or who had family members at home who were at high risk. And so there are certain employees who, because of their personal situations, they decided to go on temporary unemployment until this blows over, which is totally fine. Right. We supported them in that. We helped make arrangements for those who couldn't work from home to do that. But we're trying as best as we can. And we'll talk later about some of the things that we've been doing to keep them busy.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And then Torri.
I have seen a significant drop in our work. We have a large contract, which gives us between 3,000 and 4,000 papers a month. That just completely stopped. They actually were a little proactive and stopped about a week before the stay-at-home order. And we were kind of like, are you kidding? And then the stay-at-home order came. So that department is completely shut down. But what we've been doing is we've been trying other things to fine-tune those departments. What I've heard, we're in a weird jurisdiction. I know that in DC, everything is shut down. They are not going to be having any collection work for 90 days. That's been a mandatory by Mayor Bowser. Maryland and Virginia, we are essential business, and they have no idea when the courts are going to be opened. I have applied for every loan that is out there. I was actually on a webinar with my payroll company, and one of the suggestions that they gave, which was pretty awesome, if you have a line of credit, it's good for you to use it and take it out and put it into another bank, because they can pull your line of credit. So we have a large line of credit, and we pulled it and put it into another bank where we have another account. And that was some pretty good information, talking to several people. That kind of thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, that's great. That's the first time I've heard that, Torri. All right, great. Let's move on to Michele.
We have slowed down tremendously as well, pretty much in half. The biggest problem that we have is, I'm in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. We can't cross state lines. So most of my process servers, I don't even have one process server that lives in Delaware right now. So I actually had to hire a part-time new person to help us out there. Because like I said, we can't cross state lines. We're not allowed. The police are turning us around. So that has, hurt us a little bit. We probably have gone down to about half. We're still allowed to serve. There's been some misconceptions out there about New Jersey on whether we can serve or not. And I've talked to the bar, and I've talked to, the associations and stuff. We're allowed to serve. There's no restrictions on, the type of documents we're allowed to do. At this point, Delaware is saying that they're going to be closed at least until May 15th. Pennsylvania and New Jersey are supposed to reopen around May 1st, but I don't foresee that happening. There's a thing right now where my state and all the way up the East Coast, like New York and Connecticut and Rhode Island, they're all going to start opening essential business at the same time. A lot of the courts have gone to the e-filing system, so that has, helped us out tremendously. We have been, taking classes. I've been doing different videos and stuff and trying to explain things to people, and basically refreshing everybody the rules and the regulations. We're following, obviously, the CDC requirements and things like that. We're allowed now, which we couldn't before. If you would actually just come to the door, when I see you and you don't open the door, I can post it now. That's, you know, we've been allowed to do that in the 3 states that I'm in. You know, as long as I can, you know, see you like I'm seeing you all on the video, we're allowed to post it. You know, so, you know, we've been doing a little more investigations and, you know, a lot less process serving. But, you know, it's the nature of the business. And as far as the relief, at this point, I have not applied for anything. You know, we all kind of pretty much work from home and our, you know, subcontractors or whatnot, we all have our own businesses. So we're waiting for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware to open up that self-employment status for unemployment. And then we're all just going to apply at that point.
Awesome. Great. Thanks so much, everybody. All right, let's move on to the next topic. And let's talk about business operations and maybe, you know, how have you pivoted or changed the way that you're working? Are you offering new services? Let's also maybe talk before the webinar, we were all talking a little bit about electronic service and how that may or may not impact what we're all doing here. And if you want to bridge that topic, please do so. And I'm going to start with Joe on this one.
Sure, and I'll leave all the conversation about electronic service of process to everybody else because I know that's, you know, where they focus a lot of their time. You know, as far as what we've done to pivot, right away, you know, we were able to send about half of our staff to work from home, specifically investigations because that was already set up well. There is a lot of our staff that their jobs don't allow them to work from home. So we are still operating, you know, our main hub here in Riverside. One of the things that we did immediately is we started reaching out to clients, you know, so I'd have, you know, court runners, for example, that half their day, they had nothing to do. I'd have them on the phone with clients, just checking in with them, offering to do whatever they needed, right? We had some clients we were picking up toilet paper for, you know, we were running to the store doing different errands for them, which is normally something we would not do, but we told them, hey, we're here for you and we want to keep our people busy. We've started taking on a lot of our clients who are working from home. They don't have the ability to mail documents out. And so they're just emailing us stuff. We're printing it out, acting as their mailroom. And so we've been able to forge some even stronger relationships with some of our really large clients because our approach has been, hey, I don't care what it is, you know, we will do it for you. And so that's worked really well for us, not only as a way to keep people busy, but to forge relationships and let them know, you know, that we're there for them. Another thing that we started doing about a week and a half ago, and it's really taken off, is we started producing face masks to donate. I had an employee who knew how to sew. She had reached out to me and said, hey, you know, if any of the employees want face masks, you know, I'll make them for them. So, you know, I thought, hey, that's a great idea. We told her, hey, we'll go ahead and, you know, buy all the material so it's no cost to you. You can make them after hours. And then after about, you know, a day of thinking, when I got home that night and had some room to breathe, I started thinking, like, why the heck don't we do this as a thing to help the community around us and to keep our people busy? So we started doing that. You know, we've ramped up production. The first couple of days we were doing like 30 a day. Now we're doing about 150 masks a day. As of, you know, and again, we're only a little over a week into this, week and a half, and I think we've donated about 700 masks so far. And they are all going to medical facilities, specifically elder care facilities in our local area who need them. And that's been a great way to keep people busy, you know, so they can still feed their families. And it's, you know, it's been good, you know, emotionally and psychologically for the team because it's keeping them active and engaged and feeling like they're able to, you know, fight back in some small way.
Awesome. That's great. And it's a great story. Thank you for that, Joe. And, you know, I also like, and I've heard from my other customers, reaching out to your customers and saying, how can we be of service? Even if it's not our typical service that we do, to forge those relationships is really important. All right, let's move on to Torri.
We have also been reaching out to our clients and asking them if we can help them. Joe, that's fantastic what you're doing. That is just, you should be so proud of your company.
Thank you. Thank you. My team has come together in a big way. You know, the synergy that's happening in the team is really, really fun to watch.
That's fantastic. But we actually went to a liquor store and picked up a case of wine for one of our clients, which was our pleasure. We've been doing a lot of electronic service. We probably were one of the first companies that served somebody via text message. So this electronic service is not new to us, but I knew that there had to be some type of mechanism in place that the government has to have. So the Attorney General of District of Columbia, it has an order that gives specific instructions on how to serve the mayor and the Attorney General. And we've been doing that. We've changed some of our affidavits. We've also served MERS electronically. But it's a new way of thinking. And hopefully it's not going to stick, but I have a feeling that all the government agencies are going to realize how much easier this is than sending somebody down to the lobby to get a summons. So I think the electronic service is really going to get ramped up now. Working remotely, I am not really set up for it. We have one employee that is set up, and she likes being in the office. We've kind of staggered. Unfortunately, I've had to lay a couple of people off, and I've staggered my team so that I'm here and just one of them are here. We're all doing the best we can do.
Right. Yeah. Well, great. Thanks for those comments. All right, Michele.
I don't want to say we really have changed much how we operate. We all, I mean, I do have, office locations, but really there's never anybody in there because they're like Regis's, where you can just go in and go out. So we all have pretty much worked remotely to begin with. So we really haven't had to change much of that. The big change that we've had is all the notaries are closed. So, the people that are an hour from me, we meet halfway because I have to do their notaries. That's the hardest part, for us. And then, of course, my Delaware people and my Jersey people are, they're splitting it up because they used to go to the bank and get their free notary. Now we can't do that. As far as keeping everybody productive, everybody's been, reaching out to their specific clients. We've done a MailChimp, we've done different, slides to put out there on Facebook and LinkedIn, or my staff has done the same thing. So they're kind of advertising what their specialty is, whether it's asset searches or, social media searches or things along that lines. Everybody's kind of like pitching in and marketing their own specialty. Then we all cross market, our Canvas slides that we do. And that seems to help bring back a lot of the legal people, that, need help, like you guys had said about doing mailings. We've offered to do the mailings because, again, they can't mail from home. They don't have the postage or that kind of stuff. We've pretty much just done that for free unless it has to be, FedEx or UPS or something like that. Then we just pass that cost along. Otherwise, we've seemed to all be pretty much doing, pretty good. We've had to get a few extra scanners because, the printer scanners aren't the best. And we've, doing some alternate service. A lot of places now, you can't even get into the building. They leave a box outside the building and tell you to just leave it in the box. I was a little uncomfortable about that at one point. But those particular companies, they're the big registered agents now, have actually gone to, they just want things done certified mail. So I tell the client when they call, they're only accepting, service or process by certified mail. But, all in all, I think we're going to hold our own. It just depends on how long this is going to go.
Right. All right, Gail, let's hear from you.
So much like everybody else, I'm contacting my clients on a regular basis. I'm doing a lot of social media. I'm doing a lot of constant contact. the governor in New York is constantly giving out executive orders that are extending the tolling dates, the dates when statutes are going to be expiring. So he keeps extending that. I keep sending those kinds of informations out. Pretty much my social media, as Joe said, my social media investigations have blossomed a little bit. I have some clients who are asking me to do more service by mail just to keep things going. But I've always had a virtual assistant, so that kind of set me up to do some virtual things. But now I'm looking into different programs like Slack and other things that I can incorporate into my business, because I'm thinking now about my infrastructure and what's going to happen when things open up. And so I want to make sure that I can continue as a virtual office if I need to. So how do I motivate my staff? How do I keep them on target? We're doing more things like group chats. What's the to-do list for the week? Where do we want to go? How are we going to keep our name out there? So again, I opened up a new Facebook. I had a trademark war and I finally have a name. So Asapina now has a Facebook page. So that's like kudos finally, So
Great.
Things like that. Pretty much just thinking towards the future and where we're going to be. Of course, being in New York, it's hard to do service of process because when you hear death tolls of 10,000 people, that's why I evaluate things, what I referenced before. 10,000 people have died. I mean, that's huge. I'm in Westchester, which is the epicenter of where it started. So it's just, being careful when I go out for food myself. I'm traveling an hour to get out of my specific area because in my town, we've lost 500 people. So it's, you just have to think about it smarter, just be smarter and stay safer. So those are the things that are on my mind and how I'm trying to operate my business with a view to the future and a view to right now and how I can help and be smart and stay safe and keep my people safe.
Right. That's a good point. Good point. All right. I'm going to pivot to our next topic here, which is, after all this happens, there's going to be a large backlog of work that'll be coming the industry's way, as well as excess litigation from COVID and what's been going on. I'd like to hear from all you guys. How are you preparing? How are you preparing the business? Are you still marketing? How are you going to change any marketing? What are you getting in place? Be it software, be it, having your workforce ready to go when the time comes. Anything that you're evaluating, or any tools or anything like that that you can share with everybody on the webinar. And Torri, I'm going to start with you.
Yes, we are still marketing. We're probably doing an email blast every 10 days, letting our clients know that we're here to help them. We've also been cleaning out our computer. One of the things one of our colleagues, Danny Callahan, said was the comeback will be greater than the setback. And I think that has kind of been my mantra through my association as well as my company, because most of the people that work for me out on the street are independent contractors and they are feeling it. And I'm trying to keep them motivated. Those that know me know I can be kind of goofy and I send stupid emails and jokes out there. And I just know that we will be back. And this is a really good time to clean up your company, your computers, your offices. We're never going to have a time like this again, thank goodness. And there's not going to be anything in the pipeline that's really old. So it's just a good time to reevaluate and clean up, because we will be coming back much stronger than when we went out.
Awesome. Michele.
Well, definitely we're still marketing, as Trent can tell you, because he's seen my videos. We've been doing a lot of like every other day videos of, you know, one specific service we offer, you know, reminding people of any changes. You know, we do that on Facebook and LinkedIn. You know, we've revamped our Facebook and LinkedIn pages. We both have personal and professional pages for that. We have been talking to people because I suspect that this is going to blow up when it comes back. You know, as Torri said, you know, it's going to come back probably stronger than ever. So I have some people, you know, that are currently, you know, delivering pizzas or whatever, and have offered them, you know, a job, you know, doing service of process or court filings and whatnot when we do come back. You know, as far as evaluating, we have gotten rid of, you know, some dead weight. We have done, you know, some different classes. You know, we've gone over and retrained everybody on how to use, you know, the software that we use, you know, Serve Manager and whatnot. You know, we've updated and redone, you know, some of our accounting programs, you know, like we use QuickBooks. So we've, you know, retrained everybody on the newest version of QuickBooks. Yeah, it's, you know, it's, we've taken what we already do and just kind of have reminded people, you know, that we're still here. I just can't get beside it, the fact that when people call and go, oh, you're still open. Apparently there's people that, you know, just didn't even bother to let their clients know that they're closed or, you know, what's going on. You know, and they're like, and you're not jacking up their prices. You know, my team just wants to work. You know, again, whether it's, you know, they're doing their marketing, you know, or whatever. I mean, you know, like I said, we all pretty much work remotely in the service of process industry anyway, you know, whether it's from your car, your house, or whatever. You don't need to necessarily be in the office. So we were kind of prepared for something like this anyway. I mean, you know, and I've said the biggest thing that anybody can do, and I did a video about this myself, is, you know, remind people you're still there. Whether you do a MailChimp or whether you do, you know, a Facebook video, just remind your clients, you know, you're still there. Whether you're open or not, you're still there. Or what things you can do at home remotely, you know, like these mailings that we've been talking about, you know, because you can do the mailings, you know, if that's something you can do. Or go shopping for them or whatever the case may be. It's more about, I think, you know, all of us sticking together in the industry and, you know, bouncing these ideas off of each other and having these seminars. And, you know, just then secondly, then reminding your clients, you know, who you are, what you do, and then what you're doing now, you know, and what we can help you with now, you know, and that we're all really in this together.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Gail.
So as I said, yes, I'm still marketing. But now I'm trying to think about how do I automate that? You know, getting what can I automate in my business? Because if it is going to come back as big as we think it is, and I agree, it's going to come back big, but I have a caveat to that. I think that I'm going to need to automate as much as I can, get things going. I've done a lot of housekeeping and trying to keep my infrastructure strong and well balanced, but I think that the work is going to be there. I don't think the court system is going to be ready for the work that's going to come in. So I think that the clients are going to be more frustrated and going to want us to act more rapidly than we'll be able to, because I don't think the court system is going to, at least not New York, it's not going to come back full on, because I can't even conceive of how the court could handle that much. And a lot of the people that I know in the court system are older. Are they going to come back as quickly? Or are they going to have staggered workforces? Are they going to have staggered hours? The hours already are shortened. Are they going to continue to be shortened? How is it going to roll out? So I'm trying to think of what that's going to look like and how I'm going to satisfy the frustrated customer who wants to get his work done now because he's got so much of it coming. So those are the things I'm thinking of. And in addition to that, I'm trying to figure out, okay, so what's my financial position? How long can I hold out? You know, where can I cut costs? Where can I increase services to be better prepared, like messaging, picking up documents from clients and bringing them to court and things like that I don't normally do, but I will add to my roster of services. And then just in total, what's 2021 going to look like? You know, and so I'm reviewing my business plans for 2021 in light of what I think is going to be a changed marketplace, because technology is going to impact what we're doing now, is going to impact how we work going forward. You know, courts are already doing arraignments by video. What other things are they going to do by video? And will our clients expect us to do more video chatting with them. You know, are we going to need to have more telecommunication things at our fingertips? So I'm studying different ways of doing that, and how do I incorporate that into my business, and how do I stay relevant going forward? That's what I'm thinking of now. That's how I expect to go forward.
Yeah, that's great advice, Gail. Thank you. All right, Joe, let's hear from you on this topic.
So I want to start with, you know, what we can all do to get ready, right? What can we do right now? And certainly this whole thing sucks, you know, no question about it. But there are some immense opportunities for, you know, us individually and as businesses here. You know, the stock market is a great example, right? You know, everybody was losing their mind over the stock market the last month. You know, I doubled my personal holdings in the stock market in the last month because I know it sucks right now and I lost a bunch of money, but I dumped a bunch more money in, and then I'm going to make a ton on it, you know, in the next, you know, 6 months, 2 years, however long it takes to recover. And that's the same thing with our businesses right now. The more we invest right now, the bigger payoff it's going to have in the future. Each business that looks different. You know, mine's a little bit unique because of how large my business is. You know, and all the different moving pieces that we have. So it's what I need to do today is going to affect me differently than other people. But at the end of the day, that concept of now is the time to invest, whether that's, you know, in dollars, in marketing dollars, whether that's in human capital, you know, bringing on the right people right now. There's a lot of, you know, good people that are looking for work right now who have been laid off. I think, you know, for a lot of them, they're scrambling, trying to find new work, and they're not going to, but because nobody wants to hire while it's so uncertain. So that maybe that presents some really good opportunities for people to go out and get some solid people who know what the heck they're doing. One of the things we've been doing a lot of is cross-training. You know, pulling people from different departments to learn what everybody else is doing. So that way, when things ramp back up, I can use people in different positions. You know, there's a lot of, you know, kind of daily things that we're doing to just keep people busy, you know, especially the face mask project that I was talking about. You know, and Torri, you had mentioned something that I hadn't done. I hadn't done a lot of yet, and I'm going to start doing. I'm going to bring in my managers, and we're going to have a meeting about reassessing our processes, right? So we are constantly looking for efficiencies, and one of the problems we've had in the past is, you know, yes, we want to increase efficiency, but there's so much to do during the day. It's hard to sit down, you know, have the manager sit down at every desk in their department and say, hey, what do you think we can do better? That was a perfect time. So thank you, Torri, for giving me that idea. And one of the things that has weighed on my mind heavily, and now we found the solution because we've got enough to keep people busy, but, you know, you lay off a bunch of people, once things start ramping up, it's going to be difficult to get them back into full swing, right? Because now they've changed their daily schedule where they've got to worry about, you know, who's going to watch their kids. They've got to make arrangements weeks out ahead of time. Well, if the court's open, you know, and we only have a week notice, that might create some real problems. So getting, you know, people, keeping them going, even though there's not a lot of work is one of the ways that we can prepare.
Great. You all had some really great points, anywhere from marketing your business. You know, one thing I hear from my clients is, you know, they're working on their websites, their Facebook page, like you were talking about, writing blogs, you know, getting any information out there that you can, as well as the operation side, I think is really important that you all talked about as well. I'm going to hand this at this point back over to Trent, who is going to run the question and answer session.
Sure. I do see and thanks panelists for going through those slides. I think we do have some questions in the Q&A here as well. Adam, Steve, Kyle, if you have any questions that you want to throw out there. Steve, looks like you have something to say there.
Yeah, I wanted to make an addition to the presentation I made earlier. Remember, if you have employees, there is a program through the IRS now that gives you a 50% credit for employee retention. So if you're keeping your employees, just Google employee retention program, COVID-19, and you'll find what you need to do. I've already filled out the paperwork. You need to fill out the paperwork. It'll give you credit towards your payroll taxes up to 50% on $10,000 or $10,000 employee wages, I believe it is. And it's immediate. Also, one question that was directed to Torri, and it was from Paula Ashcraft, and she asked the question, do you charge less for electronic service? Reduced rate?
That is a big problem that we're going through a lot of, well, it's not a problem, it's a discussion. We have a client that does bulk service to the AG and the mayor, so I have not cut my prices. But like Joe said earlier, our clients need to get it done. And I am not going to cut my prices. I'm not the cheapest in the DC area, and I'm going to continue with the same type of service. We went and had a specific type of affidavit that will include the email address. I've also asked whomever I'm emailing if they could please just send me a response received, and we attach that. So it is a lot of work, and no, I am not going to be lowering my prices.
Yeah, and if I could piggyback on that, because Torri, the conversation we were having was kind of before everybody got online. You know, my thought on that is that, again, most clients, they're using you because you're reliable and you're going to get it done right? There's different amounts of work that have to go into electronic service that, you know, the normal, you know, service of process doesn't involve. So it still takes time, it still takes resources, it still takes expertise to make sure it's done properly. And most clients are going to appreciate that it's getting done, appreciate you have that expertise. And I think if we start worrying too much about, oh, you know, this is, you know, I don't have this, you know, expense to a field guy, I need to cut my price, you're going to, you know, inadvertently cut your profits out as well and devalue your service. Steve had a great saying, I can't quote it exactly. What was your saying, Steve?
Price is never an issue unless there's an absence of value. We have to understand, and thank you, Joe, for that. You got me flustered and blushing now, but we have to understand that we are already trusted on their list or they wouldn't be sending us papers. And if we develop a procedure for us to make sure that, yes, this was served, here's the email chain, all those things that go along with it, then our value is still there. Our value is still there. Good job. Thank you, Joe.
I don't,
Okay.
oh, go ahead, Steve.
No, if you have one, go ahead. I have one that a couple people I've answered in here. I want to make sure that we address.
No, there's a few in here. We'll probably do Q&A for another 7-8 minutes or so, and then wrap things up. Kind of a follow-up to that last slide as far as preparing. Heather's comment / question was very true, but my question was more towards how would you prepare for the volume once the courts open back up? How would you as a process server prepare so no one else, or so no one is overwhelmed? I don't know if any of the panelists have any additional thoughts on that. I know we talked about courts. And
I think being organized is a huge issue with a lot of servers, just to get themselves organized and ready. This is a time for them also to reevaluate how they keep their papers, how they break everything down. If they want a mobile printer in their car, I think that this is just a good time to prepare. so that once the floodgates open, boom, you're ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, that covers everything from, technology to process. I know, I think Michele, maybe in one of your Facebook Lives, you talked about, looking at your affiliates that you send work out to. And
Yep.
Anyone else have comments on that?
Yeah, I had a thought. I think our industry, one of the biggest downfalls of most companies, especially the smaller companies, is lack of clear communication, right? And lack of setting expectations, because we're so hungry for work. We say, yes, 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 give it to me, I'll get it done. And then we do a bad job because the client's expecting it to get done fast and you don't have the bandwidth to get it done fast. I think it's perfectly reasonable as this rolls out for you to tell your clients, thank you so much, we are going to get right on this. We are overwhelmed with work right now. It might take a little bit longer than it used to because we've got so much work, but we're going to make sure you get taken care of, right? As opposed to just taking it, hey, business as usual, and then they're getting pissed because you can't turn around quickly. I learned that lesson years ago when I was so hungry to get work. We'd be stressing out to get all the stuff done. And then finally I said, hey, I just need to reset my client's expectations. Hey, this investigation is not going to get done tomorrow. It's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks. And I'll tell the clients, hey, if you need it done quicker than that, let me know, but it's going to cost you extra because we've got, all this other work, backed up. And again, most clients are reasonable and they're going to accept that. They're going to appreciate that.
I think I know the answer to this question from all the panelists, but we have a question from Eleanor. Has anyone considered closing their business and going to another line of business?
No.
Anyone have a response other than just no?
My wife, I had to placate my wife because she's like, well, we closed our business down for health reasons, for her, myself, my servers, my staff. Her son died twice in one night and he has asthma issues. So if we were to bring COVID-19 into our office inadvertently, a server or someone, it's possible he may not make it a third time. So we decided to close it down. And my wife's like, these people are calling now, they're looking for other people. And I'm like, honey, if we lose all of our business, we'll just close this thing down and start a barbecue restaurant. It's not a big deal. And she goes, oh, okay. Now she doesn't know that it's more work to do a barbecue restaurant than it is to do process serving. She doesn't know that, but in my eyes, I'm not going anywhere. We're going to do what we need to do to make sure that we're here for our clients that stay and understand that, it's one thing. It's this, when you send me out, in my opinion, and this is my opinion because everybody gets to have opinions. If you're sending me out to go serve a paper and we close down because I'm trying to protect my family, my staff, and you get upset with me, you don't care about me. And when you don't care about me, there's nothing I can do for you. There's nothing I can do for you. And I'm okay for those people to leave. And we'll build back because that's what always happens. You always take one step back and then you take 2 steps forward and you come out a better person. You become out a better business owner. You become a better company. And so I'm not going anywhere, but I did tell my wife that to placate her. She's happy now, but it ain't going to happen.
Well, she does make better barbecue sauce than you. So, I don't know if anyone else in the panel have any comments.
I've actually got something just to echo Steve's comment, but also Eleanor's question. So firstly, Steve, in that scenario, if you're not going to take their work, we think it's really important to proactively communicate and let them know why, and that you will still be here to support them, but there are reasons why you're choosing to do that. We've got lots of our clients that are still serving. And regardless, I know a number of the panelists have said that they are using this as an opportunity to communicate with their clients and even their prospective clients. But to Eleanor's questions about shutting down your business and going into another industry, obviously we heard your answers to that, but what are you doing? Everybody is anxious and stressed right now. Not only do you have to look after your business and your employees and your family and sometimes their families as well, what are each of you doing to relieve stress, stay focused, and manage this personally?
Well, I'm on a weight loss program. I have
I'm
my
taking
own
long walks
list
with my
of,
dog.
I've got my own list of honeydew things to do, my own things that I've been wanting to do around the house. And I'm doing that, and I'm working on some other projects for the business. And then I'm running from my wife to her not to be able to add her honeydews to my list, and that's how I'm losing the weight. So I'm not sleeping. I'm not watching Judge Judy or Maury Povich. I'm thinking about the future. How do we prepare a business? We had a meeting yesterday to talk about, okay, if we're going to open back up in 2 weeks, how do we get prepared for that? Let's contact our clients and let's tell them, yeah, we got this paper. Yeah, we're still going to take it out. And we're going to serve it on this day. Da, 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 da. If we can get prepared for that and get rid of some of the administrative hassle that's going to go through, then what's going to happen is that when this deluge does come through, we'll be able to handle it and not have to go back and do admin things that we could have done yesterday.
I'm eating a lot. I gained 5 pounds last 2 weeks.
You're going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I'll send you my weight loss, okay? Okay, Joe?
There we go. Yeah, you know, everybody's different. I work on cars to clear my mind. You know, everybody's got their different thing. It is important that we don't spend all our time worrying about the business, right? We've got to focus. When it's time to focus on the business, we focus on the business. When it's time to, you know, focus on the family or, you know, our personal mental health, it's time to focus on that.
One of the things I've been doing is I've been exercising, and I've been actually meditating in the mornings to get my head in the right spot. I actually asked my significant other the other day, and he's retired. I'm like, honey, how do you think I've handled this? Having to lay some of my team off. And he said that I've been handling it much better than he had expected, that I'm much calmer. And I have to say, it's the meditation that has really helped me to stay calm and focused.
Yeah, it helps a lot, even if it's just 5 minutes just to breathe and not be staring at a computer screen. It's so easy to, I mean, I get up pretty early, and there's mornings while I sit in front of the desk starting at 6, and my wife's been awesome. She's been bringing me food and keeping me fed. But then I look up and it's, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't even showered yet, but you need to get outside. You need to exercise. If you can meditation's been great. Even if it's just for a few minutes to clear your mind. But Gail or Michele, any additional thoughts to that?
I've been playing with the dogs. I think that play is what keeps me going. The dogs live in the present. They don't know what's going on. And when you've been bombarded with all the craziness that's going on now, just being with a being that is just full of light and happiness kind of takes my mind off everything. I like to train, so I get in the yard and I train with them and take them for long walks when I can. And my husband is really good about taking care of me, making sure that I eat and do the other things, because otherwise I'm on the computer trying to figure out what's next and how do I keep it all going. So the dogs just give me the relief. Like I have 3 dogs, a cat, and a bird. So they
you get your hands full.
Yeah, and new staff, the bird decided that he's into pens, so he comes on the desk and pulls the pens out and eats them. The cat decides that she's a paperweight, so she sits on the papers. And dogs need to be in your lap, but 3 is kind of hard to take, so they're all contributing in their way.
I think we are close to the hour mark here. I'll give everyone a chance to say something at the end if there's any other parting thoughts. One last thought from one of our attendees, Bob Rush. He says, be prepared for the out-of-state business as well. Make sure your contacts you have used before this pandemic will be ready when the cases resume. We use many out-of-state servers, and we'll make sure they are all still in business. Thanks, guys. Thank you to the panelists. If you want to connect with our panelists, this is their phone numbers, email addresses. This video probably will be posted on our site later today. We will also send this out via email as well, the recording of this webinar. Head over to Slack. As I mentioned, if you weren't here at the beginning of the webinar, some of our panelists are going to try to hang out in our Slack channel for a little bit and do an AMA, ask me anything for 30 minutes or so. If they want to stay later, they can. If you are not registered yet, go to sopslack.com. We'll do our best to get you approved and in there. Right now, go to the AMA channel. You'll see that in the list of channels there. Inside Slack, you might have to hit that plus button to see all the channels. Definitely, if you plan on joining us in Slack in that community in the future, I highly suggest the apps, the desktop and mobile. I think it's a lot nicer than the browser. I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll here as well for all of our attendees that are still there. Just a couple quick questions. If you wouldn't mind answering those, we can share a little bit of data with our with the folks that didn't make it on our social channels. This is what Slack looks like here. If you have a specific question, you can use the @ symbol to ask just Steve or just Joe or just Michelle. Otherwise, feel free to drop your questions in the Slack channel. If you go over there right now, you'll see over here, that's the AMA channel that I have highlighted on the screen right there. And you'll see the plus above where the channels are if you need to add that channel to your Slack interface. Next week, April 21st, same time, same place. If you're already registered, you don't need to worry about it. The topic will be related to what's happening with large attorney service firms. And so far on the panel, we have Alex Martinez from First Legal, Ross Maller from PM Legal, Keith McMaster from Firefly, Marty Kilmer from One Legal. Adam Cameras will be moderating. Adam, I don't know if you have any additional comments you want to mention on that. No? Okay. Panelists, any final thoughts? Any final words?
Everybody stay safe.
Yes, stay safe. Hey, panelists, I appreciate you guys. You're true leaders. Joe, you're an absolute stud, dude.
Thank you.
No blushing. No blushing.
Pass that message on to my wife and hope she buys it.
You want me to? I won't send her a text message because I don't want her to ask you what we've been doing.
Thank you.
Everyone on this panel is awesome. I encourage you to reach out, connect with them. They not only are they running amazing businesses and they're leaders in this industry, but they give back so much to the process serving and legal support and investigation community. And I want to thank you guys for being here today. Thank you very much. Head over to Slack if you have the time, both attendees and panelists. Thanks a lot.